Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to this channel. This is Rise with Gladys Mothoni. This is a place where we learn, we practice, and we grow. Yes, we are. I am excited about today. We've been doing a book review, 21 Foolish Things that People Do. The book is written by Dr. Paul Enenche. He has written 21 things that are unwise for someone to do, and if you do those things, they sabotage your progress. And what I'm doing in this season is that among the 21, I have picked 5 things that really stood out for me. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys. I've already done the first video. If you've not watched it, I'll link the link down below so that you can watch it and learn together with me. So today I'm doing the second thing, and the second thing is titled Forgetting Your Roots. It's very, very unwise and it's foolish for you to forget your roots. What do we mean by forgetting your roots? It's forgetting where you're coming from. You know, you seem to be comfortable in the moment you are in. You are doing better today, so you forget yesterday and you forget where you're coming from. And he starts this topic is number 16 among the 21, and he starts by explaining that those people who forget their roots, they forfeit their destiny. What we mean by this is that when you're forgetting where you're coming from, people who tend to forget where they are coming from, it means that they are comfortable in the place where they are. So they tend to lose track of where they were coming from and where they were going. So when you forget your roots, you forget where you are going. You know, our roots, the places we are coming from, they act as fuel. When you remember that I came from a very poor background, and you know I am on my way to bring a liberation. And when you're bringing that liberation, some of us are trailblazers. You're not only going to come out alone, there are so many others that are going to get attached to you coming out. Have you not seen people in families who came out of poverty? And because this one person has come out of poverty, then he's able to help many more in that family to come out of that poverty. So you've not forgotten where you're coming from. Just because you're doing better today, you have not forgotten the yesterday. And even he lists some things in this chapter. He says that, people forget that yesterday you slept hungry. So today you have food and you have forgotten. You have forgotten that time when you felt like, I don't know who has, I've not felt like this too. You don't want to go back to the village because you're looking at your life and you're thinking, well, the way I am doing in life, when I go back, people are going to question, is she really doing okay? So there are those times you felt like you don't want to go back to the village because you don't want to feel the shame of that eye, the eye that people are looking at you with. So when God has blessed you, you now forget that place which you have come from. He says that those people who lose their humility, they lose their authority. Your humility and your ability to remember where you're coming from gives you authority. So when you forget, you're giving away your authority. And I love a song by Nathaniel Bassey. It sang, I remember your goodness. You can listen to that song, that you remember the goodness of God and you remember where you have come from. And in this remembering, you can list some things, and you know that those things you have not achieved them because of your strength. It's not because you qualified, but it is the mercies of God. You remember that it's the mercies of God that brought you to that place. And he insists on us taking time, even laying prostrate before the Lord and giving thanks for the things that God delivered you from. God delivered you from addiction. God delivered you from poverty. God, that time when you didn't have money, and God delivered you. God helped you pay your bills. And in that, he shares the story of that is found in Joshua chapter 3, when the Israelites were crossing the Jordan. And they, after they had crossed, they took under the instruction of God through Joshua, they took 12 stones from the dried river. And this is what is written in chapter 4, verse 20, and Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. He said to the Israelites, in the future, when your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. You know, it's an interesting story. You should read it all. But it's when the Israelites wanted to cross the Jordan, and the Jordan parted, and became a dry ground, and they were able to pass through. And having been delivered like this by God having made a way for them, they took each tribe, there were 12 tribes, each tribe took a stone, and they made a monument so that in the future they would be able to point their children to God. They would tell their children, we remember that there was a day we didn't have a way, but God made a way through a river. And I don't know what intentional steps you take for you to remember the doings of the Lord. It's good to even record them. There's like a small, I have I think it's a culture, I would say. It's like I put my notebooks together, and sometimes I take my notebooks and read through them to be able to know, what are those things I learned in the past, and have I been able to grow into them? What are those things I had written as to-dos? Have I done them? And there was this small notebook that I had when I was in campus. I don't know if I've spoken of it before. And as I was completing campus, I remember there were things. We used to have a prayer group with my friends, 5 of my friends. And there were things I had written on that book that I was trusting God for. And as I read through it, I was able to see, wow, God is so faithful. I have ticked everything I had written on that book. God has done it. So it helps me know that this is the place I came from. And God has been able to bring me from this place. And if He was able to bring me from this place, then the things I am trusting Him now, I have reference that He did that, so He can also do this. So it acts as my point of reference. So be intentional about recording the things that God does for you. It could be written, it could be in pictures. Sometimes you go through your gallery and you look at yourself like 4 years ago. Even Google gives this, they should give you the memories, or Facebook gives you the memories, and you're able to see how much your life has changed from maybe 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and it helps you remember where you are coming from. The other thing is that do not forget the people that God used to bring you out. People may have the tendency of forgetting, the people that God used. They are our parents. God used our parents. God used that that friend of yours. God used that neighbor. God used your sibling. God uses many people. But when we have been delivered, people have a tendency of now looking down on those God used. Sometimes we rise above our teachers. It's supposed to be that way. If someone mentors you, most likely you will rise above them, because now you're able to stand on their shoulders. When we stand on the shoulders of giants, we are able to see far. So sometimes people will mentor you and you will end up becoming better than them. I was listening to a certain gospel musician, and she was saying that there was a time in her life that she had mentored other artists, and after mentoring those artists were doing better than her in the music industry for some time. So there's a tendency that you might do better than your teacher, than your mentor. But when you're in that position, when you're doing better than your teacher or your mentor, do not forget that it is on their shoulders that you stood. Do not forget that they sacrificed to pray for you. They sacrificed to fast for you. They sacrificed their time to speak to you. They sacrificed their resources. They sacrificed so much for you. So do not forget them and begin to treat them with less honor. And this is connected to the law of honor. I have done a video on the law of honor. If you've not watched it, you can check it out. And if you do that, it's like you close a door for God to bring other people into your life that can propel you to the next steps. So always make sure that you do not forget those people that God used to bring you where you are. You know, there are people who go to church and they pray, you know, God, please deliver me from this problem, but immediately God delivers them. You never see them again in that church. They promise, they make vows, you know, God, if you give me a good job, I am going to tithe, I am going to give an offering, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be involved in ministry more. But immediately God blesses them, they forget. And that's a very risky position to be, because God does not like it when you make a vow and you do not keep it. So do not forget the vows that you make when you need that breakthrough. And then immediately you get the breakthrough, off you go, and you will never ever be seen again. So it's very important. And the last thing is that never become big in your eyes. Always remember where you came from, and don't become big in your own eyes. Whenever you become big in your own eyes, your downfall is inevitable. And he gives a saying that the mother to Oral Roberts. Yes, Oral Roberts gave Oral Roberts. Whoa, someone come and help me to pronounce that name, Oral Roberts. His mother told him that many people are going to praise him that he has become great, but in his own eyes, he should never stop from becoming small. Because when you forget that this is not all that there is, you can never progress from there. The secret of continuing to rise is not allowing it to get into your head so that you think, now I am bigger than everybody. It's good to acknowledge that God has given you the anointing, that God has opened the doors for you, but do not become too big in your own eyes. It will become fuel for your downfall. So this is the second thing that I learned. It's number 16 in the book. It's do not forget your roots. So until next time, bye-bye.